you've talked about kind of regaining some of your love for the game, I guess, in Charlotte and kind of on your way. I wonder, I guess, to focus on the negative, what was it that took it away? Was it was it the specifics of the directly previous situation in Los Angeles, or kind of what was it that was getting you down or had you in a negative place about basketball?
I would say there's a lot of things.
Tell us all of them.
Yeah.
Name names.
Name names. Well, name names. To the biggest thing was myself. I'm not gonna lie, because and I'm not just trying to be politically correct or whatever. Like, it really started with myself, because at the end of the day, I'm still playing the game. So if I can't get myself to enjoy it, then like I can blame everybody else. But at the end of the day, like it's still gonna start with me. And there are times, even during Insanity, during the New York stuff, that like you guys saw the highlights. There are times in those moments where, I actually wasn't enjoying the game either, because I was putting so much pressure on myself to succeed or to be what everybody else wanted me to be, and so I really had to address that. And that wasn't like an overnight thing. It was like a process that took years and years and years, and I'm still figuring that out. Even when times, when trials come down, or bad games, bad performances, whatever, I still have to find a way to, how do I disassociate this or not make my performance like my identity or everything, because I just care a lot about it. So that was number one. The simple way of saying is I just had to learn how to really like trust God with it, play for God, and as cliche as that sounds, it's really true. Like it helped free me a lot on the court, where I could get to a point where I enjoyed it. And then circumstantially, there was a lot of other things going on too. Like you said, the LA season. I mean, you play 82 games. If you win 21 of them, there's not a lot of us in here that would be like, I love the game. 21 out of 82, man. We had a 3-game win streak. We thought we won the championship. We were really like legitimately celebrating. Like it wasn't like we were legitimately celebrating in the locker room for winning 3 in a row. And so that was tough. And then I think another big part is why I'm excited to be back is I'm in a position of where I feel like this is what I was meant to be. I was meant to be a leader. I was meant to be a starting point guard, like coming off the bench and playing spot minutes. Or if you're hot tonight, we'll play you. If you're not, we won't. Like to me, that was never who I dreamed of becoming as a basketball player. I didn't, as a kid, say I want to come off the bench. No one grows up saying that. Like I just want to be a bench player. You always shoot for the stars. You always have big dreams, and that's how I've always been. So that was, taking its toll on me as well. And so I guess you add all those things together, and that's where I kind of lost my way, and really at some point, like I didn't even feel like playing for a little bit. After the Lakers season, I put on 21 pounds in 21 days, because I was just, and I didn't touch a basketball, I didn't exercise. The only way to put on that much weight is to not exercise. I was eating pizza and burgers and chips and candy all day, and I just like did nothing related to the game of basketball. And that was kind of my way of like coping with what I was going through.
So what was it about Charlotte that turned that around? Was it just the matter of winning more, or what was the?
I think spiritually I got to a different place. That's really important. Spiritually I was able to like just be content with who God is or who He is in my life versus, hey, I need you to give me X, Y, and Z for me to be happy. I tell some of my family and friends, my biggest regret in life actually is that for the first 5 years of my NBA career, I didn't enjoy it the way I really should have. Actually, I don't think I enjoyed it, period. Like if you on a binary scale, if you're like, did you enjoy your first 5 years or not, I would give it I did not, 0. And that's my biggest regret. And last year I really got to a point where I was like, man, time is passing me by, and I really need to start enjoying this. And like, so I started focusing on the present, the moment, like today's practice or today's game. There are times where we would be losing, and I'd look up, I see 10,000 fans, and I'd be like, man, I'm blessed to be able to be playing in front of all these players, even though I'm losing, even though I'm not playing well. Like, this is a tremendous opportunity. And so I was able to slow down in my own mind. I was able to really be content with who God was and not what I wanted God to bless me with. And I think that changed a huge switch in my mind where I started smiling a lot on the court. Started doing stuff with my hair that I would never have done before. Like, honestly, I went through a lot of hair phases and whatever, but like, with each one, I had a lot of criticism. Actually, probably some of you guys in this room were probably criticizing me when I first started doing crazy stuff, but to me, that was more an expression. It wasn't so much me trying to do anything for anybody else. It was just, why not?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm just having fun. I'm just being myself. Like, I've always been, you know, a little bit out there. I've always wanted to have fun with my hair or my clothes or whatever. I've just always been that type of person. So why do I have to? I don't have to be cookie cutter. I don't have to be, you know, what anybody else wants me to be. Like, if I take some criticism along the way, that's fine. Like, I'm not hurting anybody putting a mohawk up. So I'm gonna put a mohawk up.
Yeah.
That's kind of like where I got to, and
Right.
where I was able to really. That was a big expression to me, or a sign that I was like, hey, like, just live your life and have fun doing it.
Yeah. I think when you started doing that, I always wondered whether it was on the upswing in terms of happiness, or if it was like an NBA midlife crisis. Like some guys get a Porsche and some guys get a mohawk, so I just wonder but it's good to hear that was a good thing though.
Yeah, it was a great thing.
Yeah. You talk about pressure, and you have some of the most intense fans. I've tweeted a lot of things, probably more things in my life than productivity should have let me. But every time I've tweeted in like relation to this event, it's just an incredible outpour. People are like, will there be people from across the country or across the world? Like, will there be a video or this and that? How has that, specifically, I think, part of it has to do with your heritage as an Asian American, and there's so many fans who around the world identify with you on this other level besides your play.
Yeah.
Has that ever felt like, has that ever been part of that pressure? This is an extra, I don't know, burden, if that's the right word, but has it felt that way sometimes?
Absolutely. I would say when I first got in the league, that was a big part of the pressure. And then I took that and I multiplied it by 2 because I also wanted to be successful. And I wanted to do it for myself too. And I wanted to prove that my hard work was going to pay off. And then I added that on top. So it was a huge, huge part. I remember when I first started, I would literally, like if I went like 0 for 4, like back then I wasn't playing that long. So, you know, 5 minutes, you might get like 2, 3 shot attempts. If I miss all of them, literally the first thought in my mind would be, what are all my fans going to think? Like that's all I could think about during the game, after the game. Couldn't sleep at night, couldn't eat before the game. Like I was struggling with a lot of anxiety early in my career. And a lot of it was because I was so focused on what is everyone going to think about me, or like, man, like now they're not going to support me anymore. Now they're going to think I suck. And like, you know, like you said, you don't escape it. You know, everything I do, like they know. Dude, I see. Honestly, when I look for pictures, like, you know, I post pictures on my Instagram sometimes. When I want to find a picture for my Instagram, I just go to my, what do you call it, like on Instagram where they tag you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's where I find my picture. Or I just Google stuff. It's not my own. It's not like I'm taking pictures and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna put that one up. It's just I go to my @ or mention section and I just find a picture that a fan posted, and I'm like, this one's cool. That's how
It's like from inside your apartment.
No, but yeah, for real, like, because I'll take a lot of pictures throughout the day with fans or whatever, and then they just get posted, and then I'll see, like, or whatever during the games, you know, they'll be like, fans will take pictures, post it, and then I'll be like, that's a cool one, I'm gonna use it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's no real escaping it, but yeah, it was a big part of the pressure early on, and I'm not gonna lie, it was hard.
Yeah. You talked a couple times about your faith, and I want to kind of go back a little bit and just talk about how all of this happened. Like, what were your parents like, and was faith just always the kind of first thing, and what was it just like? How was it like to grow up with your folks?
Yeah, my parents definitely, like, from birth, well, I don't know if it's technically from birth, but from what I can remember, they're always like, all right, God first, school second, basketball third, and then anything else, like friends or video games after that. And that was always a priority. And so they did a good job of really setting that precedent. So it was kind of ingrained growing up. And, you know, my parents always talked about that, and, you know, we would go to church and youth group and different things. And that doesn't necessarily make you Christian or whatever, but I was exposed to it, and I think that's initially where, I mean, I can honestly say that, like, saved me in a lot of ways. Like, if I didn't have my faith, I don't know who I would be. I might be scared to know who I would be, because, like, everyone sees me and they're like, oh, he's this humble whatever guy, and I'm like, dude, you guys really don't understand, like, who I really am or who I was or whatever, or the thoughts I have, or how arrogant or how much pride is really a big part of my life. And it's just, faith to me has done wonders and changed me to a very different person. Like, I'm the person who used to make all my teachers cry. I was getting kicked out of class, getting kicked out of practice in high school. I made Sunday school teachers cry, I made high school teachers cry. Like, I was just not a role model in any way.
What were you doing?
I mean, I was.
Cry.
I mean, it wasn't that bad. Like, objectively, like, they probably shouldn't have cried, but I wasn't necessarily a model student myself. I mean, like, I made fun of them because they spelled something wrong on the board, and then the teacher cried or something. My bad. I don't know.
That's some high achieving bad. That word on it.
And I somehow got into Harvard with it. No, I just, yeah, it's just, it's changed so much of how I think. It's given me so much more purpose and a deeper sense of joy. Like, that's why I'm just a lot happier these days. And so from birth, or from my childhood, they always kind of enforced that.